Okay, now here is a brief video talking about your body paragraphs. We talked about the intro paragraph and how it ends with a thesis that mentions the two things you'll be talking about. For example, this one's going to be about the archetype question, where we're going to talk about the goddess in the shadow from our hero's journey story. So, what you need to keep in mind, if your thesis mentions these two steps, these two paragraphs need to be in the same order. So that means this first body paragraph, you're going to be talking about the goddess archetype. In the second body paragraph, you're going to be talking about the shadow archetype. It's very important that they are presented in the same order that your thesis presents them. So let's take a look at body paragraph number 1. All right. If you remember the graphic organizer we had for it, which again should be in Google Classroom, the ACET method. All right. We have several parts to the body paragraph. A stands for assertion, or at least the topic sentence. And of course, since our topic is going to be about the goddess, that topic sentence needs to mention the word goddess, so we know what the paragraph is going to be about. The topic sentence, again, is one sentence. Now let me jump to the E part, which is the evidence. This is going to be a quote. You can get those quotes from, again, your 36 quote slides that you worked on with a group. That quote, we've already talked about in class how to do a parenthetical reference with the quote, so we don't need to go over that again. But that is roughly in the middle-ish of the body paragraph. Make sure you quote it word for word and you have quotation marks. Now, in order for this quote to make sense, of course the quote has to be about the topic, the goddess. And it really should be a good quote that shows the characterization or the personality of that goddess and how that goddess affects the hero. All right. But you also need to do a little legwork before you throw a quote at the person after your topic sentence. You need C, which is context. All right. You need to tell us where in the sequence of events in the story that this quote is going to happen. So when we get to the quote, we will understand where in the story it is and we'll be able to better understand it. So tell us where in the story this quote is going to show up, then you hit us with the quote. After you hit us with the quote, you need to hit us with the interpretation or analysis of the quote. Interpretation analysis. This is where you need to say what this quote is about. You need to explain it if it's not self-evident. And most importantly, you need to discuss how this quote shows the archetype of goddess in the story and how that archetype of goddess affects the hero. This is probably the most where we see your true thinking here. This is where the smarts are involved. Interpreting and explaining the significance of that quote as evidence. Finally, this T. This T is kind of optional, but it's all about wrapping it up and possibly transitioning to the next paragraph. We'll get more to that later. Again, your second body paragraph is going to be set up just like your first one, except for it's obviously going to be the shadow. So the topic sentence should mention shadow. Then your quote should be about the shadow archetype. You should provide some context for it first and some analysis after the quote, and then you're good to go. The last thing we need to talk about is we need to talk about how to transition from one paragraph to the next. You have 3 paragraphs here, and adding transitions helps it smoothly flow from one paragraph to the next. Now, the easy, meeting the standard way to do that is to provide a quick little phrase at the beginning of the paragraphs. It can be as simple as, that should be firstly, since this is your first point. Firstly, and then give your topic sentence, or, in this one, secondly, and give the topic sentence for your second body paragraph. Those key words help your reader realize, oh, wait a second, here's their first point. This is their first paragraph. It kind of transitions them mentally to get ready for your first point, and then mentally help them transition to your second point. Now there is a more advanced way to do this, and it involves repetition of keywords. Pretty easily, it's going to be easy to transition from your intro paragraph that just ended with the thesis, mentioning goddess and shadow, into your first body paragraph, because that topic sentence is going to mention goddess. And because you have goddess up here, and you have goddess in the next sentence of the first paragraph, that naturally transitions your reader from one paragraph to the next. All you need to do is to get from this paragraph to your second body paragraph. And you can put that transition either at the end of the first body paragraph or at the beginning of the second body paragraph. But again, it's going to involve repetition of keywords. For example, I would probably do it at the beginning of this second body paragraph. It's obviously the topic sentence is going to be mentioning the shadow, but I also, if I want to transition, I probably should mention the goddess as well. So my topic sentence here for the second body paragraph would probably be something like, as opposed to how the goddess helped the hero, the way the shadow affects the hero is much different. If I put that right here at the beginning, it not only is a good topic sentence, but it transitions nicely out of the last topic, which was goddess. Now again, you could do a similar thing up here. You could wrap it up with goddess and then give a hint of the shadow. As long as the transition shows up as the last sentence here or as the first part of the sentence here, you're good to go. That's the more advanced way of transitioning from one paragraph to the next. And if you do it nicely, it sounds nice, and it flows nice and smoothly, you'll get yourself an E. All right, good luck. See you next time.